Hey, what is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge, and we are back today with an exciting video update here in regards to my Dark Dimension 6 progress. So I'm very pleased and happy to say that the Cosmic section is officially now completed, utilizing my 5 characters that I previously have built up. That's Kestrel, Val, Kang the Conqueror, Ravager Stitcher, and as well as Photon. So having said that, I'm just waiting on editing my last video for mission 8, but I mean, we were able to get through it, and the Cosmic session was just super fun. I wanted to make this video as a way to recap and provide my reflections, as well as mistakes made and any kind of lessons that I can obviously share with you guys. So having said that, let's get right to it. So this is a screenshot here of all 3 of my different notes here relating to the Cosmic section. That's 6, 7, and 8. And as I said earlier, these 5 characters, I want to talk about them in more detail a little bit later. But first and foremost, mission 1 being the first Cosmic note here, super straightforward. We just blew past through the synergies of our team. It could have probably been done in 2 attacks, but then what happened at the end is I waited for my Dr. Doom against me to ult, and then that actually helped me set up for attack 3 because I could build up my cooldowns, which actually is how you should be approaching it, right? Because at the end of the day, these cooldowns, these energies do carry forward. So how you end a node is really how you're going to be starting the next one, and that's the the mindset that you want to be using when you're thinking about this marathon kind of game mode like Dark Dimension. Mission 7 looks worse than it actually was. It took me 9 attacks. It should have been probably more around 6 or 7. But during my initial run, I realized I was making some silly mistakes, leaving some said characters that I should have been taking down right from the get-go. And that's just mistake. That's just lessons learned for myself, right? Targeting the right character. So in my video on that, I did make a mention on that. So there were some characters that I should have taken down sooner, and that's actually why it resulted in a couple more attacks. But lessons learned for next time when I do my time run for the second Dark Dimension 6. And then last but not least, this is the mission 8 here. That's actually arguably the hardest node out of the 3. Now, because of a gimmick in the game plan here, it actually allowed me to be able to do some really meaningful damage. So I'm gonna have that video. I just got to finish editing, but it was actually a pretty straightforward node if you know who to attack. It is problematic because there were some pretty dangerous characters like Apocalypse, Red Hulk, and as well as members of Darkhold. So that's exactly why I want to take my time and make sure I provide those findings to you. But there you guys have it. So that's 3, 9, and 7 attacks in total, wrapping up the Cosmic section. Now, let's zoom back here and take a look. So out of these 5 characters, are there guarantees, must-have locks, and as well as other options I should have considered? We're going to be talking about that. So first and foremost, guys, I'm sure, goes without saying, you probably don't need me to tell you, the 2 most important characters that you absolutely need to have is Val and as well as Kang. There's a couple reasons, right? You can already bring them initially into the any trait sections, but Val instinctively having the revive on 100% just makes her the guaranteed lock. Very costly in terms of Mystic Gear, but I mean, she's the one that you want to be spending all the Mystic Gear into. I would say her skill set alone is better than both the Eternals combined, just because of where her game value is right now, her usage in game, and the fact that she's one single character that can bring so much to a team, and that wondrous plug and play aspect. Kang goes without saying, he's next to Super Skrull and Apocalypse in the meta here for probably the top 3 characters in the game. The damage that he can do, his rewind, as well as him being able to clear barriers. You're going to find a lot of enemies that we're up against has barrier, and with his abilities being able to cleanse that is just night and day. He does so much damage instinctively just by having him as a plug and play character. And beautiful part about him is that there's actually not that many tech characters that are this important, and that means we can funnel all our resources into a tech character like Kang, especially for Dark Dimension, where you're needing to be careful on those resources. He's well worth the cost, and he's honestly going to make every game mode better. Actually, the reason our alliance was able to clear 1.4 and 1.5 incursion rates on 100% was largely due to Kang, because at the time when this was done, the Pegasus tech team has not been released yet. So he's like an absolute staple to get through the tech nodes if you guys are watching this later on and still want to invest in an option that's not Pegasus yet. But yes, these 2 characters, absolute locks. Now that just leaves Kestrel, Ravager Stitcher, and Photon, and I want to talk about each of them, as well as kind of the options that we could have utilized and what their shortfall is, right? I mean, Kestrel, in my honest opinion, you know, it's difficult to say. Like, she got the rework and whatnot, and she got some much needed buffs, as well as the fact that she's part of the meta with Pegasus. So I think the value's there. The fact that she's the tech and skill helps as well for resource allocation. But to be honest, I mean, she was just really good passive damage. You know, the fact that she doesn't have any kind of crowd controlling aspect definitely did not help. But what I did appreciate was her damage. The fact that she can self-sustain, she can self-cleanse herself, and as well, she can apply, you know, so many defense downs across the board for the team, which was nice. But I found that she dropped pretty quick though. Like, she was still very squishy. But you know, most folks will likely have to build her up now, because not only is she a staple for the Pegasus tech rate team, but as well, you're gonna need her at gear tier 17 at least if you want to unlock Big Boy. So I think it goes without saying she's almost kind of like a pseudo lock, because of the fact that if you're interested in unlocking Big Apocalypse. Having said that, do I regret bringing her? I don't think so, because there's always going to be value with her in all game modes. I just wish her kit had more, you know, just some more supportive capabilities, because it was basically the Val and Kang show, and Kestrel was just there for the ride. And if she could do some damage, great, but if not, she was basically just a punching bag. Now, Photon. I really got a lot of things to say about Photon. I kind of wish I had her at 5 yellow. See how close I was to those shards. But Photon's blinds was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, the fact that she's a bio character in the in this cosmic section is huge for folks that want to save resources, that don't want to bring in mystic characters. Even the fact that her special, right, her blind and slow to primary and all adjacent targets, this could have been the difference maker of saving my characters from getting wiped. This was huge. I absolutely love this ability. The downside is that, you know, it costs 5 energy, so that's a downside. It takes time to build that back up, but thankfully her ultimate ability is also 5. And what's nice is it actually generates an ability back, so it kind of helps with her special. But her ultimate as well, attacking all enemies, applying offense down, defense up for herself and allies, and speed up if you have any secret defenders or A-Force allies. Huge. Her value is big. Her only shortfall, obviously, is the fact that I did not have her higher up. You know, four red stars was borderline difficult, because like she could easily get 2 or 3 shot. Not, mind you, still got the job done with her, but at the end of the day, those stats do matter. What I love about bringing Photon was the fact that, like I said, bio, and the fact that she's part of Secret Defenders and part of the meta with this arena team, likely to stay for a bit. You know, it's looking good. It's amazing value. I actually have, you know, no regrets so far with this team and these characters, right? Like, I mean, there's some ways obviously we can improve, but I definitely think Photon's a really good lock, and she provides something that Kestrel didn't have, right? The blinds, the defense up, the offense down. You know, that is the juicy stuff I need on a supported team, especially when you have Val and Kang kind of carrying all the load. Now, last but not least, I know I got a lot of flack for this, but I absolutely love bringing Ravager Stitcher. Like, every day that I could participate in the Cosmic section was because of this guy. The fact that I did not have to invest in more tech mini uniques. His downfall, unfortunately, was the Gamma Gear, right? And again, guys, remember my background and context. Being free to play, I decided that I wanted to pursue Dark Dimension above Big Boy. So, you know, to be honest, I didn't really need the Gamma Gear. You know, most folks likely are using Gamma Gear for the Gamma team. But for me personally, that's not going to matter, because I'm probably going to unlock Super Scroll before I go through the Big Boy Apocalypse route. We'll see which one takes place first, but I want to see if I can finish Dark Dimension 6 as well, Baby Apocalypse. So that's kind of the route I took. But I absolutely love the fact that Stitcher, as cheap as he was, a great punching bag, you know, as good as Kestrel, but as well as the fact that, you know, he can actually do some good work with this special. The fact that he can steal 10% and then apply that once again, he actually could heal 2 of my allies that were buried in red or orange HP, bring them back to full HP because of how much the Dark Dimension HP scaled. So for that reason, he had some critical moments where he saved my team's butt, and I really appreciated that. Even his basic, if he actually kills a character, they can't be revived. So I mean, I didn't really see this utmost, but I like the fact that you know, when synergizing with Kestrel's defense down, he also applied piercing and a heal block, which was nice. So it wasn't completely useless, which I really appreciated, but he was basically another punching bag next to Kestrel. But having his heals definitely was nice from time to time when I needed it, especially when I wanted to finish off an enemy. So there you guys have it. Those are the 5, and talking about each and every pain point I had. But now let's talk about option, guys. If I could go back, what are things that I noticed with my team? I would have to say, honestly speaking, because a lot of my team just lacked crowd controlling, that's definitely an aspect we could improve on, right? I mean, you can bring in some characters that can obviously crowd control better. Characters like, Star-Lord T'Challa, hugely stack crap, but the fact that he has blinds, I mean, not just this Star-Lord, but as well, we have the Nowhere one, the Annihilation one, which might make more sense because he's a skill character as well, and the fact that, he can actually blind multiple targets, I think is a really, really good option and idea, potentially, especially if you guys already have a built-up Nowhere for Black Cat. I've seen folks bring in Thor Infinity War, but keep in mind the Mystic Gear, right? Depending on who you want to bring into City and the Legendary nodes, that's definitely a consideration for sure. But if you have a big juicy Nowhere, you might have already these characters built up. I've also seen, obviously, these Cersei and Icarus, the Eternals combination. The downside of these two is that they come as a pair and they don't really shine that well unless you have both of them together, and again, costing a boatload of Mystic Gear, and that could be a couple of months for you waiting on gear and resources you want to bring them up. I've also seen aspects of obviously the new meta here being the Bifrost, right? The Beta Ray Bill, Sylvie, they would be able to provide some more supportive capabilities that Kestrel and Ravager Stitcher on my team did not have. So it could be strong options. Again, the RNG and the Mystic Gear, or how your gear is actually dropping from the RNG of the orbs and so forth, could be dependent on that. I've seen folks bring in Cosmo, a bio character that can provide some additional support. But again, the only downside, I guess, with this Nowhere team is you'll be getting some value in war, but aside from that, that's pretty much it. And let's not forget, one of the key reasons I did bring in Stitcher was because I knew he was going to get replaced. Let's remember that in the Cosmic section, when you're doing this the second time around, assuming you've unlocked Super Scroll is going to have to replace someone in the Cosmic section. And for me, it's a no-brainer to take away Ravager Stitcher. I'm also thinking future-proof, right? Like, Dark Dimension 5, Dark Dimension 4. If you guys brought up Ravager Stitcher before, you're going to have value built up over time. Is Ravager Stitcher a character potentially that I might use in Dark Dimension 7 or Dark Dimension 8 in the future when that time does come? Very, very strong possibility just because of his cheapness. That's not gonna change going forward. So that's kind of why I wanted to go down that route. Super Scroll, having said that, he's gonna replace him later on. So that's why that 5th character is almost kind of like a pseudo option that you may or may not want to keep, right? I've also seen, obviously, like, Doctor Strange. This is one that I am heavy against, just because he is a Secret Defender, but he's the odd man out. No one has really built up Doctor Strange for the Secret Defenders, and if you have, and ideally, at least you can combo Val with the multiple revives, but those are definitely some options that I've seen in terms of synergies and possibilities, right? But at the end of the day, it is ultimately going to be dependent on your guys' gear. Philo Val, Moondragon, having Infinity Watch synergies, but as well, with them being bio and skill respectively, that can help you in resources. I've always liked Philo Val. I've used her in Dark Dimension 5, the barrier, the offense down, being able to cleanse and help the team. Those are things that Kestrel and Ravager Stitcher did not have. So if I could go back, if I had unlimited resources, for sure Philo Val would have likely been an option. I like Moondragon because of the stronger heals, multiple heals, having said that as well. But being a skill character would have been able to allow for better resource management. But yeah, that's kind of what I think, guys. I think bottom line, these are the ones I probably would have opted to choose if I had more resources and materials. I think having more support around Val and Kang is definitely a shortfall I didn't see coming. But having said that, we still did really, really good with the attacks. And this was a very meaningful. I had lots of fun Cosmic. Definitely a lot more smooth than the global sections, I think, because largely with Val and Kang's damage, it was just constantly flowing, and they just really supported each other, especially with the revive. So hopefully this helps you guys kind of prepare and see what possibilities there are. Let me know if there's any characters that I missed, but those are definitely some of the strong ones I've seen. And obviously, I think, I think a big one too, guys, that I failed to mention is the lack of heals, right? If we had a character like Dormammu, I think he would have been like the perfect. He would have been Ravager Stitcher on steroids, plus revives and supported by Val. He's obviously a GOAT if you have the Mystic gear, but you know, just how costly he is. There's a reason that you know, they designed these characters to be extremely costly. Same with Doctor Doom for the global nodes, is the fact that, you know, they're not ideally something that can be sustained unless you have a huge resource you know, allocation, as well as being able to constantly buy or use offers and so forth to maintain that. But yeah, that's what I would change going forward, guys. I'm gonna make a video as well on who I'm bringing to the city nodes, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. Cosmic is super fun. Hopefully my videos can help you guys navigate the waters, but I also have my Cosmic last node video for your guys' reference out as well. So thank you as always. Do appreciate the love and the support and following along in this journey. Always an exciting time. Thank you, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.